So glad that you all have joined us this morning. What I'm going to do, I will briefly kind of talk about who I am. Not that that's important, because I want to talk more about you guys and to you guys. And then we kind of got to get into some dialogue about education. So I'm Dr. Jerry Wallace. I serve as the Dean of Student Services at Lone Star College, Montgomery, which is just up the road in Conroe. We also have the Conroe Center, which is right here off of 3083, and I also oversee that location. So a big part of my role at Lone Star, little splurb about Lone Star really quick. Lone Star College is the third largest community college in the United States of America. We have over 84,000 students all across Lone Star. There are 7 in-person campuses and 1 campus that is fully online. At the Montgomery campus where I'm located, which is I-45 North off of 242 and technically the Woodlands area, that campus has 16,600 students. So it is very large when it comes to a community college. The Cy-Fair campus, which is the farthest campus west on 290, has about 22,000 students. So that's quite large when you compare it to even Sam Houston State University, which has about 18,000 students. So as a community college, a lot of students come to Lone Star. Lone Star has over 200 different types of degrees. So I'll talk a little bit about those degrees in a minute. So let me go back to kind of who I am and what I do. So originally, I'm from Huntsville, Texas. So I was born in Huntsville, was raised in Huntsville, and then when I got to high school, transitioned to Conroe, and I graduated from Oak Ridge High School. So while I was at Oak Ridge, I participated in different sports and activities and actually had an opportunity to be a dual credit student at Lone Star College, which at the time was called North Harris College District. This community, New Waverly, is very special to me, more specifically because my brother is standing right there. Rodney Thomas is my youngest brother, and he is a graduate of New Waverly High School. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be here with him because I'm just so old that whenever I went off to college, he was like 7. So he's a grown man married with 3 kids. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be here in front of you giving back to the community. Our parents live just down the road, so it's a wonderful space to be here. My journey throughout higher education was up and down. I went to college initially to play basketball. When I left Lone Star College, I went to Grambling State University in Louisiana with an opportunity to play basketball. Didn't have the greatest time in college that first year. I transferred on to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, which is actually where I finished all my education. While at Lamar, I ended up tearing my ACL. So I tore my ACL in my right leg, which for a basketball player, that's tough. It was the leg I actually jumped off of. And I had this moment where I was kind of depressed. Like, man, what's going to happen with my college education? What's going to happen with me going forward in school? Luckily for me is I was always an academic. So while in school, I stayed on course academically. I got very involved in college. Joined different organizations as a student, and my senior year in college, I was actually homecoming king for the university. Graduated from college, continued my education, got a master's degree from there, and then would later on get a doctorate degree, and later on would go back to school to get a certificate. So the degrees that I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design. I have a Master of Education in Supervision. I have a Doctorate of Education Leadership, and I have a certificate in Diversity and Inclusion from Cornell University. So being an academic, being a lifelong learner is something that has been a part of my life. And I can tell you guys, I hated school. I was always good at school because I wanted to play sports. So academically, I was on point, but I hated school, right? And yet I'm a higher education administrator. How did that happen? I'm going to tell you how it happened, and I'm going to give you guys some points, okay? First and foremost, first point I want you guys to hold on. I want you guys to say this with me. Say believe. Believe. Okay. First and foremost, you have to believe in you. You have to believe that every step you've taken in life, everything your parents or your family has given you is guiding you to where it is you need to be. So you have to believe that you're being prepared for where you're going to go. You may not know the end result. You're 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't know where I'm going to be in 20 years. It's going to happen pretty quick. But you have to believe that you're going to achieve your goal. Sometimes the goal or the journey or the strategy may shift. But if you don't believe in you, you're not going to overcome the challenges and the barriers that's going to happen. I remember when I was getting ready to graduate from college with the first degree, I sat down with my faculty advisor and he said to me, you are one credit short from graduating. I had been in college 4.5 years. I said, what do you mean I'm one credit short? Like, I've done everything y'all told me to do. And he said, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. You're one credit short. In order for you to graduate, you got to go get this paperwork signed. You got to go meet with this dean, this vice president, this provost, and they got to sign off on this paper. I remember going to the track. I used to work out with the baseball team later on, and I was on the track with the baseball team with the baseball coach. And he said, hey, it's about to rain. We're not going to run the track today. Y'all go ahead and go home. And he said, Wallace, y'all go ahead and go home. But I was so distraught. I had lost belief that I was like, you know what, coach, I'm going to just stay out here. I don't care if it rain on me. That's just how I feel right now. I walked around the track 4 times and I'm pouting. I'm upset. I'm like, man, I went through this college journey. They told me I'm a credit short. Called my mom and she said, pick yourself up. She says, what did they tell you need to go do? I got to go get this paper signed. She said, go get the paper signed. I said, yes, ma'am. I go to this office, this office, this office. I sat for 4 hours waiting on these people to sign this paper. I'm in the provost's office and it's ice cold in there. I'm freezing, no jacket. It's me and the secretary. The office is quiet. He's in a meeting for like 3 hours. He comes out and tries to give me a pep talk like I did something wrong. I said, sir, I just need you to sign this paper. Sign the paper. Long story short, I graduated. My grandparents happened to come to see me graduate. I'm the only grandchild in the family to get a degree. But I had to believe enough. I had to believe enough to overcome that hurdle. Everybody say believe. Believe. The next one is execute. Everybody say execute. Execute. If you don't take a step, nothing happens. If you don't take a step, nothing happens. If you decide to go to college, if you decide to go to the military, if you decide to get a job, you're going to have to apply for something. Whether it's applying to college, applying for the job, applying to the military. You have to execute. You have to do something to achieve your goal. It's not going to come on Instagram. It's not going to come through TikTok. It's going to come through you taking your 2 feet, Johnny and Paul, and taking some steps to execute. Execute also means studying. Read the book when you don't have to read. If you're in a math class, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, how many people want to be engineers or something along computer science? Engineers, anybody? Nursing? Okay. Healthcare, nursing? Okay. If you want to be a nurse or go into healthcare, the class that always gets everybody is anatomy and physiology. That's the course that's like, I don't know if I'm going to pass it. So I talk to students in college and I say, did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you study? Yeah, I studied. When did you study? Well, I studied this morning. You studied this morning before the test? Did you study the weeks leading up to the test? Well, okay. Execute. Do what it is you need to do to put yourself in a level of success. The last thing you want to have happen to you is when the opportunity comes, you don't get it because of something you didn't do. You ever seen somebody get an award or a job or they get an accolade and you like, man, I know I'm better than that person. Like, how did she get that? How did he get that? Not because they were better than you or smarter, it's because they executed. They applied, they took the step, they studied, they stayed up at night, they put the phone down, they didn't hang out with their friends. Whatever it is that they did, they executed. Everybody say execute. Execute. The next one I'm going to give you is strategy. Strategy. Everybody say strategy. Strategy. Okay. In any space you go into, whether you want to get a career, you want to go into college, you want to go to military, you got to have a strategy or a plan. I see some of y'all now taking notes. I'll give you an example. On my cell phone, I have a section called notes. And anytime I have an idea or a thought, I actually pull out my cell phone and I start writing notes. So some of you guys who are close, you can see. Look at that. See all that?
Yes, sir.
You like, that's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. Look at that.
Whole book.
Whole book. Matter of fact, you said books, right? Write a book. Write a book, STEAM model for businesses. Create a workbook, online paid module series, host a conference, continue consulting, keynote for schools. I'm doing that, check mark. Businesses, communities, create a fellowship series with a certification. Already there. Strategy. I don't know if you guys know who Steve Harvey is. He's a great comedian. Okay? There's a snippet on Steve Harvey on YouTube where he says, if you don't write a plan, or if you don't have a vision, the people fail. Or he also says he has a vision board. Strategy. You need a vision board. You need a strategy. Pull out your phone and make a note. What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Let me start writing steps. Man, I want to go to Texas A&M. Okay, what does it take for me to get there? I got to have this GPA. I got to have this many programs I got to participate in. It's going to cost this much. Well, I want to be a nurse. I want to go do welding. I want to go into chemical engineering and sonography. Okay, what does it take? Here's a tip. Go on Indeed.com and look up jobs. Type in the job you want, the salary you want, and it's going to give you an active job description. On that job description, it's going to tell you what degree you need, what level of experience you need, where that job is, and the different qualifications for that job. You take that job, you keep it in your strategy notebook, and you say, let me start working toward this. Let me start taking steps toward that, so you can outline your strategy. When you have your private time, pull out that phone, make notes. Put the Instagram down, because that's not going to help you with your strategy. Okay? Make notes on your phone. When you're in the back seat of your parents' car, make notes. When you're sitting down at Starbucks, make notes. During the cafeteria at lunchtime, make notes. Start to build your strategy. Everybody say strategy. Strategy. Here's the last one. Trust. Trust. Surround yourself with people you trust. Surround yourself with people who are trustworthy. Have trust in the process. Have trust in yourself. If you don't believe, if you don't execute, and if you don't build a strategy and trust the steps that you're taking, you will set yourself up for failure. Trust is a long process. In some spaces, it's long suffering. Means it takes a while. Means you're going to go through some ups and some downs, some changes, some hurdles. You might tear a couple of knees along the way. I broke fingers on the basketball rim, had surgery, broke a bone in my toe. I done broke all 6 bones in my body. I done been wrapped up like a mummy. But I trust the process that at some point I would achieve a goal. So let me see. So I told you guys I had this opportunity where I wanted to play basketball, and I hurt my knee and was trying to figure out these different steps. What am I going to do? How am I going to get an opportunity to achieve success? And it just so happened at one point in my life, I was in the NBA. So I had an opportunity to be on the practice team for the Houston Rockets for one day.
You like that? You did?
Sir. I realized that one day I wasn't meant to play basketball. I was so out of shape. I was like, oh my goodness. I was 26 at the time, and these guys were like 20, 21. They had just drafted Chandler Parsons. He came out of Florida. Florida had won the national championship, and they had some recruits come over from overseas who were trying to make the Houston Rockets practice team. I had played in a tournament in Houston and had did really good, and I had a buddy who worked for Root Sports at the time, and he called me and said, hey man, the Rockets gonna have this secret tryout, and they're gonna come to this tournament, and they're gonna pick up a few guys that can play. He said, man, you need to go off. I was like, bet, let's go. So I'm dropping 30, like I'm hooping, right? So I get picked up, they give me a call, they had to do a background check on me. I shoot this commercial with them, and I got to do this practice for a day. I realized that day the NBA was not for me. I was never so tired in my life. They played nonstop. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna take a water break or something? We're not gonna get no Gatorade? Like, hey, These guys played nonstop, and we couldn't touch or hurt Chandler Parsons because he was the prime guy. But these other guys were 20, 21. They were trying to make the team. At this point in my life, I'm 26, almost 27. I wasn't trying to make the team. I'm just happy to be there. Got paid for it. I'm like, I'm just happy to be here, right? Hey, mama, I made it. But the thing is this. Over time, your journey changes. Over time, your goals change. But if you don't trust the process of where you're going, if you don't surround yourself with trustworthy people, there are some individuals in this room you guys have a close relationship with, your friends, your buddies, your colleagues. You're going to need each other through these times. You're going to need to lean on each other. You're going to need to give back to one another. You're going to need somebody that's going to say, hey, we got to get back on track. Hey, no, we can't go to the party tonight. No, we got to go work tomorrow. We got to hang out. We can't do this. Trust yourself. Surround yourself with trustworthy people. Okay? When you go on and you get a job, you're going to need to surround yourself with people on your job who are trustworthy. That's going to help you navigate the process. Everybody say believe. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Strategy. Trust. Trust. Believe. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Strategy. Trust. Trust. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Trust. Be the best version of yourself. B-E-S-T. Best. I don't know if y'all caught that. You didn't? You did? Yeah. Be the best version of yourself. Sir. If you believe in yourself and you execute, you organize a strategy, you trust the process and surround yourself with trustworthy people, I guarantee you, you will be the best version of yourself. It is a wonderful opportunity to be able to come back after all these years. And then, as I said earlier, I see my brother over here being the best version of himself. I see you guys in 10 years being the best version of yourselves. But you got to believe. You got to execute. You got to strategy. And you got to trust. One more time. Believe. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Strategy. Trust. Trust. Believe. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Strategy. Trust. Trust. Believe. Believe. Execute. Execute. Strategy. Strategy. Trust. Trust. Best. Be the best version of yourself. Thank you guys for your time. Hope you guys have a great day.